Welcome to another episode of Steal a Moment. I'm your host, Michael LeBois, and with me today is Alex Leeds. Sorry, dude, I already screwed up your name.
Oh, you're good.
The man behind Dumb Celeb Drawings on Instagram. You can find him on Twitter as well. Alex, thanks for joining me. As always, love to get to know the people behind the stuff that I enjoy very much. So, explain to me a little bit how you got started with the Dumb Celeb Drawings, and what would you say is probably the most exciting signature you've ever gotten back?
Well, it started probably close to 10 years ago. I was just hanging out with some friends. We were smoking a little and just drawing, which we did a lot. And I was drawing. There's a town close to where I live. I live like right south of Cincinnati. There's a town called Florence, Kentucky, and there's a water tower there that it's well known in the area, and it has its own Wikipedia page. It's called the Florence. It says Florence Y'all on it. So I was drawing that water tower, and while I was drawing it, I was just thinking, like, it'd be really funny if Florence Henderson, the mom from the Brady Bunch, signed this drawing of a water tower. So I looked up her fan mail address online and sent it out, with a self-addressed stamped envelope in it too, just thinking there's no chance I'm ever going to get this back. But, it's only 2 stamps, not losing much. And then a couple months later, I got it back and she had signed it. She had, sorry, that's my cat, Darla. She signed it, put a little heart on it. And I was like, I wonder how many of these I could actually get back. And 300 plus drawings later, I'm still doing it. And then for your second question, I think my favorite would be, maybe it's a tie. It's Dr. Fauci. I got one back from Dr. Fauci. I sent him a drawing of Jim Carrey's The Mask. I think I got really lucky with that one too, because there was a brief period where in 2020 where he was exposed to COVID. So he was at home isolating. And I just happened to send it out at that time where he was home. And then the other one was probably from Joe Exotic.
Nice.
Tiger King. Yeah, I sent him a drawing of the nice thing about prisoners is their address is easy to find. They're not going to be moving around.
Right.
But I sent him a drawing of Tiger Woods, and I got back a photocopy of the drawing, and he signed it. And then he wrote a letter back too, asking me to sign a bunch of petitions for Trump to pardon him. And then I somehow got ended up on his mailing list, because then for the next couple months, I was getting something from, I guess, his lawyer every couple weeks.
Shit.
Yeah.
So there are some what's the word? Some disadvantages to doing this as well.
Yeah. I mean, I genuinely like getting mail. So it was interesting, just to see what was going on in the Joe Exotic world, I guess, is a big push to get a pardon that never came.
No.
I don't know if he thought I had more political pull than I did, because it was a handwritten letter. He's probably not doing much in there, but.
Right. Well, and then you think about it too. He probably is like, wow, this guy thinks enough of me to send me a picture of Tiger Woods for me to sign. Maybe he'll think of enough of me to want to get me out of here.
Yeah. I was hoping there was going to be some kind of cameo from the drawing in the second season, but. Nope.
So lucky, huh? Well, I didn't get to watch the second season. I will not lie. I got through maybe about 4 episodes of the first season, and I was like, this is not my bag. This is not my bag. Not at all.
Yeah, that was me I watched the first season when it first came out. And then the second season, I watched half of the first episode, and I was like, it's not as good. It's just retreading a lot of the same story.
With a little bit more evidence on what happened to Carol's husband or something.
Yeah. That's well, I didn't even get to that part.
Oh, okay.
This is not that interesting. Nothing new has really happened. He's still in prison, and
makes it hard, right?
Yeah.
So you're from the Cincinnati area, right? Are you a Bengals fan? Are you
Oh
are you
yeah.
excited about what's happening with them right now?
Very excited. That's a FC Cincinnati flag, the MLS team.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, big Bengals fan. That the last two games have just been like unbelievable. Like it just never. You're always set up for disappointment with the history and everything. But I think this team is different with Joe Burrow. He's just somebody you can believe in. That like all the great quarterbacks. As long as you got that person, there's always a chance.
Well, and also the Bengals are the one team that have really silenced the Chiefs this year,
Yeah,
which will be nice. We'll see how this.
They did.
Yeah, we'll see how this ages because this is coming out after this game is played. So,
Oh, geez, yeah.
so we'll have to figure out how to edit in. Well, this is what happened at the end of that game. I'll have to throw it in afterwards what the result was. But I'm with you as a lifelong Broncos fan. Being born and raised in Denver, I can't wait to watch Kansas City lose on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
It's awful that I feel this way, but like I said this in a meeting today at work, that if I was a safety in the AFC West and Patrick Mahomes was running out of bounds, I would take the 15-yard penalty to knock him out of the game.
It'd be, it's not a bad play. It might be dirty, but it's smart.
I'll take the fine. I could probably afford it.
Yeah. Probably start a GoFundMe if not from your like a fan base.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a few fan bases who wouldn't mind seeing that. For me also too, I just don't want Jackson Mahomes to go to the Super Bowl.
I never even heard of him until this week. Like all the articles and stuff came out about people, so many people are supporting the Bengals just from this one guy they can't stand.
Well, think about this. In essence, he stood on the Sean Taylor Memorial and did a TikTok dance.
Oh, I didn't hear about that part. That's freaking.
And then like talked back to a business in Kansas City that made it through the pandemic and was like, I can't believe you wouldn't seat my people. Like I would have given you all this business, but now you're on blast. And they responded. Jesus. They responded like super rudely, which was awesome. Like, well, sorry that your famous brother didn't give you enough clout to break the rules that are in place by our business.
Yeah,
you had 10 people. Like
if I was a safety in the AFC West, I'd take him out. He's on the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean, he poured water on a fan at a game too, like for making fun of him because the Chiefs lost, and he was like, dude, you're not even on the team. Right. Your brother's the one everybody loves. Like, go away.
Yeah.
Could you imagine like Hulk Hogan's brother up, like beating people up in the crowd at an WWE event because his brother is the most popular guy in the world? I mean, reason I thought of Hulk Hogan is because I said brother like 17 times in a row.
Yeah, I'm really hyped for the game. It's a day before my birthday too, so it's like I'll either go into my birthday really excited or I don't know if I'll be disappointed if they lose, but it's just like it's just crazy that they're even in the game.
Yeah, they are a crazy team. They're good on all sides of the ball. Jamar Chase scared a lot of people in preseason and then pretty much is the rookie of the year. There's very little debate on that.
Yeah.
But I think Zach Taylor proved himself as a coach this year. I think who they gonna beat them Bengals, man? For real. I'm all in. I'm invested. I follow a guy on YouTube, Flimlo Raps, if you've ever heard of him. He's a diehard Bengals fan and like does NFL breakdowns on his channel. He does a lot of whatever happened to's and stuff like that. But he has been so hyped with this Bengals team. Like he's so pumped. So it's nice to see little hometown love for a team that, in our lifetime, I'm assuming that they had like a good stretch with Boomer, and then they had a decent stretch with Ocho Cinco and Palmer, but like never really any consistencies. So
no, they would. Yeah. Since I think the last time they were in the Super Bowl, it was like the day before the couple days before I was born.
Oh, okay.
The only like success they've had since I followed them is the Palmer, Ochocinco, and they made the playoffs, and then Palmer got his knee blown out, and then Andy Dalton era, which was always a disappointment. It was consistent, but it was a consistent disappointment, I guess.
Right. Well, so that you just showed me my age a little bit, because they were in the Super Bowl when I was like 3 or 4. So Boomer was a player when I was growing up. And Chris Collinsworth was a rookie when I was like 3. He was rookie of the year. So it's always interesting to like see that Jamar Chase might be the next Chris Collinsworth, which can be good or bad depending on how you feel about Chris Collinsworth and his broadcasting career.
Yeah. He's okay, I guess, in my book. But mainly, maybe I'm a little biased though.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So you've been doing comedy as well, right? So you're a stand-up comedian on top of all of the fun stuff you do on social media?
Yes. I've done stand-up since I graduated college. Because I went to school for video production. So I wanted to be a filmmaker. Made a bunch of like sketches and stuff. But then once you graduate, it's harder to find people to make stuff with. So I decided to get into stand-up because that's something I could do by myself, just write your jokes, tell them. And then I got into animation, because that's actually my career goal would be. I'd love to have like an animated show on TV where I had great creative control.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I am fortunate enough to have some friends who've done some actual like live action television.
Nice.
Ben Roy and Adam Caden Holland, who did Those Who Can't. Those guys are awesome. Good friends with Ben. Actually, he was one of the third guests on the show when I started it. So,
oh wow,
yeah. So, have you gotten to travel with the stand-up at all, or is it pretty much just local?
Not too much. I've traveled around the area just on my own and everything, but I've never gone on tour with somebody or for an extended period of time. I'd love to. Have
you featured for anybody? Like any names?
No. No big names like that. But I've featured a couple local clubs here.
Nice. That's awesome, man. See, that's what I love about that kind of stuff. I've tried. I tried really hard for like a year. I think I did like 4 or 5 open mics, and all of them were like, I got that one drunk lady in the back who laughs at everything to laugh at the one joke I thought was funny. So it worked. I was like, I'm a comedian. And then I was like, this is a lot harder than people make it out to be. So kudos to you for that. What would you say is your animation style? Like what would you say is some of the influences you would want to bring to a show?
My all-time favorite show is The Simpsons. I've watched, since that's probably when I was a kid, that was probably, I guess, my first exposure to comedy. I love the world building, I guess, of The Simpsons, just like the town of Springfield. I like that concept of just, the show focuses on The Simpsons, but there's so many other characters that are well developed and who they are. I'd like to do some kind of a show with a bigger setting similar to that.
That would be awesome, man. Because sometimes I feel like that's what has led The Simpsons to last as long as it has, is it has such a vast world. Like Springfield, a small portion of it in the first few seasons, and then they expand the cast of characters and you get to see more nuance and development. And a big part of that too is quality casting. I think if you can find the right voices for your characters and really develop those as well, man, you're on point. We had Maggie Roswell on here as well.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So she was fantastic. She loves talking about The Simpsons. And the Sherry Bobbins episode is a big part of that conversation too. So she's really cool. And those conversations were fun. So definitely a big Simpsons fan as well. We make my fiance and I make a lot of references to Mr. Burns for some reason. It just kind of happens. I don't know where that comes from.
Well, what do you remember any specific ones?
The other day, they usually stem from the Alien episode where he's just high on lithium the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's like, come with me to the wonderful place. And like, just like
I bring you love.
I bring
His
you
green love. Kill him.
But like those references come up, and sometimes I'll sit like this and I'll go, excellent, just out of nowhere. Anytime I turn my computer on, hello, Mr. Burns, thank you. Or, hello, Smithers, thank you for turning me on. The little things like that. But they kind of just pop up in random conversations.
Yeah. I read a cool thing. Like I follow like a bunch of the Simpsons writers and stuff. They'll give like some behind the scenes trivia things. Mr. Burns answers the phone, ahoy hoy. And that, I guess, was apparently what Alexander Graham Bell, what he wanted the standard reading to be when you answer. So it's just another joke of him being super old that he answers his phone like that. I thought that was really interesting.
Oh man, that's cool too, because like it's the subtle nuances. That's what made the show great. Yeah, like even like all the Treehouse of Horror episodes. I'm a big horror nerd, so like seeing the tie-ins to like doing the episode of The Raven or The Shining are two of the ones that stand out forever for me. The Shining, yeah. You're the Shining.
Yeah.
Oh, Groundskeeper Willie, what a genius character.
Yeah. Speaking of Mr. Burns, I sent a drawing of Mr. Burns to Ken Burns.
Still haven't gotten it back yet, or did you get it back?
I know I got it back. I got a letter from his like a typed letter from his I guess assistant or something.
Nice.
Talking about because I had sent him a drawing before of the Super Size Me DVD cover, and he didn't sign it. So I decided to send Mr. Burns, and then I got a letter back saying they didn't want to sign the first one, but they'll happily sign the Mr. Burns drawing. And I think at the end it says like "Release the Hounds" or something. Yes.
How do you decide who you want to send them to? That's always been my favorite part. Like watching you like post the picture, and then you're like, I'm going to send this to this person. How do you kind of decide what you want to do with it?
I mean, it's kind of just a random, it depends on like if I'm watching a TV show or a movie or, reading something, or like lately I've been sending a lot I've been, really invested in this postseason. So I've been sending drawings to different football players. I guess it just really, and then it just depends on what address I can find. That's usually the hardest part, is finding the address. Because any idea is usually the easiest part, but it's just making sure I have an address to send it to. It's just, just depends on what I'm into at the moment, or if a name. Sometimes people on Instagram send me suggestions, and that's always helpful because there's so many. Like I said I got 300 back, but I've probably sent out over 2,000.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
The last few that are on your Instagram at the time of this recording, we have Marvin Lewis, which is awesome. I'm actually kind of jealous about that one. Alicia Silverstone, which was also cool. I have your Instagram up here too.
Okay.
So that's why I'm looking at it, just to kind of get an idea. Michael Dorn from Star Trek. Nice. And then Mike Lindell of all people.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's very interesting. Has he sent you any of his information that he has about everything?
No, I got one back from Sidney Powell as well.
Oh wow. Okay.
I did a drawing of Cubert, the video game character.
Nice.
But no, so yeah, Michael Lindell, he sent a signed headshot too, and I wanted to. I work at a local comedy club, Go Bananas Comedy Club, and they have, all the headshots and stuff in the hallways. And I wanted to like frame the Mike Lindell one and try to like sneak it in to see if anybody would notice it.
That's pretty fantastic. I think that would be funny if you could be like, oh man, I didn't know Mike Lindell did stand-up comedy here. That's great. Wow, the My Pillow guy. That's really cool.
No, a friend of mine, he's like, you should added it, like to Alex, thanks for the pillow idea, and then just sneak it in there.
That's fantastic. Can you tell me a little bit about Tex Jackson as well?
Oh yeah. So it is some people ask me, I guess some people, so it's, I will spoil it. It's not real. It's not a real account. Some people,
I figured the satire portion of it was great.
Right.
Is that you, or is it somebody else?
It is me. It's
okay.
A fake Facebook account I made. I originally made it in 2015 when Trump was first starting to run, and he wasn't really taken seriously, but he was gaining momentum. So I made a fake Facebook account and added a bunch of people that had Donald Trump as their profile picture or a Confederate flag or something, just so I could like I guess infiltrate, just to see what these people were like. And then Trump won, and I feel like so many people were making jokes about it and everything. So I kind of didn't want it to be like a political thing. So I just kind of made it like a silly thing.
Yeah.
Just somebody that like overshares on Facebook, like to the extreme. I think it's really funny. Like, and so many people, the way people react to it, like on his feed, like if I comment something or post something and then real people respond, like,
yeah.
I'd love to do more with the character, not just make him. I feel like the more things I do, it's like developing him, like with him and his family and all these other characters. I'd like to be able to tell a story, I guess, through a Facebook comment section or like something like that.
Have you ever thought of maybe doing that as the animated show, like Tex and
I
Gang?
Well, I thought about that, or I thought about I wanted to do it on stage too. Like I bought a projector and I was gonna like go through some of the posts and add extra commentary and stuff to do like on stage. I thought about, or maybe like taking him and making him a little bit different of a character in an animated show. But there's like a lot of different ideas I've had for him that I'd love to do, because honestly, I mean, that gets more likes on my Instagram than anything else I do.
Well, it's interesting because like I said, I've been following you for a while, and I really enjoy looking at like who you send the images to, and then when those Tex Jackson things pop up, I just die, because if you look at it close enough, you can clearly tell it's satire.
Right.
Like, you can tell based on the cadence, like the way he says the things, like with his son. Like, hey, so my kids surprised me for Christmas with a new Craftsman tools. The thing is, I already have a hell of a lot better tools. Like, that one was great.
Yeah.
People are like, how could you? Whoa! Like, just watching people rage for no reason. If I would call it anything, I'd be like the comments section, or like just give it a great name. And I could see you doing that as a stage bit. That would be fantastic. Be like, here's what Tex had to say today. Click. And like just go through all of the people who were saying really ridiculous shit about all of that stuff. It's just, it's so good. It's so good.
Thank you. Yeah, no, like I said, I really want it. I did try to do it once, but there's like just so many technical things when you bring a projector. So many things I'm still trying to work out, like on the technical side of, where do you put, because you got to bring all your own equipment.
Oh yeah.
If you're just going to go to a comedy show and do it, because nobody else really has a projector, or rarely does. So it's just like the technical side I'm still trying to work out with that.
You should just get one of those old like goose head projectors that we had as kids in grade school, and just draw on it, like make the what are those like clear sheets, doodle on it. It takes all the wiring out of it. You just have a super hot light bulb on the bottom.
Do they still have those? I doubt they probably use those in school anymore.
Yeah, no, I think schools, at least some schools, probably just have like overhead actual projectors now.
Yeah.
So I'm looking over your shoulder here, and I see some music posters. That's half of the Beatles. Are you a Beatles? Oh no, there's another one. They're all there. Okay.
And then Andy Kaufman.
Who is a comedic genius in his own right, and a very crazy man. So are you also a musician too? I see a guitar back there too.
A little bit. I mean, I wanted to be in high school, but I never really, I guess, figured it out or stuck with it long enough. I can play a little bit on guitar, but I wouldn't say I'm a musician. I've written some parody jingles and stuff, but comedy has always been, I guess, my stronger suit.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a musician more than a comedian, so we have our dichotomies. We've dabbled in both of the fields. I've been a on and off touring musician for 20 years. And then
Oh, hell
also, I got to do some fun shows with some pretty fun bands. And
Have you ever been out this way, Cincinnati, or?
The closest I think I've been is Fostoria, Ohio, which I think is between Toledo and Akron. It's like a small farm town.
North part of the state.
Yeah.
Okay.
We played there on Halloween. There was a white barn behind us and it was sleeting out. We were guaranteed we were going to die.
Yeah.
Like we were like, this is how Texas Chainsaw happens. It's the Ohio Massacre, man. Like we're ready to, but that show went off without a hitch. It was a good time. We had fun. It was a place that had a strip club so it was a sports bar in the front, a strip club in the middle, and then a venue in the back. So like to get to us, you had to get through all the fun stuff.
Right.
So I have a very unpopular take. You can hang up on me if you want. I personally don't like the Beatles, but I like their music done by other artists.
Okay, that's you. So the Beatles weren't even my biggest group. I guess I'm a big Bob Dylan fan. That's okay, and that's what I usually hear people say about Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan is
his, but they like his music done by other people.
Right, Bob Dylan is the greatest American poet. The man's voice is insanely weird, but the guy could write amazing music, and I have mad respect for them. And and by all means, I have respect for the Beatles.
Right.
I prefer their music done by other people.
I can appreciate that.
So I'm mainly a metal musician, like hard rock metal. So like there's a version of Eleanor Rigby done by a band called Thrice that is absolutely incredible. Just like has a ton of energy behind it.
Wow.
But my favorite Beatles song is While My Guitar Gently Weeps. But I'm also a big Eric Clapton fan. So that's kind of like a cool blend between the two.
Yeah. What about Dylan? Do you have any favorites?
For me personally, I'm always partial to All Along the Watchtower. I think that's a song that a lot of people like really are like, oh yeah, All Along the Watchtower. It's the only song anybody knows by him. But it's just the one that resonates really well with me. Like my brother was a huge Jimi Hendrix fan, so listened to that song a lot. But when I found out it was originally written by Bob Dylan, it was really cool. Funny Beatles story. So growing up, I also love like 90s R&B and hip hop.
Yeah.
And on Boyz II Men's second album, 2, they do an a cappella cover of Yesterday.
Oh wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So I run upstairs, look, I have the CD in my hand and I'm looking at the credits because I was like big about like looking at credits back then. And I run up to my mom and I'm like, Mom, did you know that Paul McCartney and John Lennon wrote a song for Boyz II Men called Yesterday? And my mom looks at me and goes, Michael, go into the cassette room and grab, I think Yesterday was on the White Album.
It was on
Help. Yeah. So she tells me to go grab Help and puts it on, and you hear him go ham and eggs, and it's like Yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like dang it. And she's like, yeah, the song's older than you, like by a long shot. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, it was one of those moments when I think that was the first time I realized that artists covered other songs.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where I got into that vibe. Like, we're from the generation where a few bands got really popular off of cover songs.
Covers, yeah.
Like Limp Bizkit's first major single was Faith by George Michael. It's just funny to think about that as like, they were like, oh man, this song's so dope. And you're like, yeah, but it's actually by this gay British dude.
I think before the Beatles, were writing all their own music, it's like, that was pretty much the standard. I mean, you had songwriters who would, they wouldn't do the songs, but I guess the label would bring them to the artist, and that's how it worked.
Like Twist and Shout. I mean, that's a big one. And that was what Motown was. I mean, a bunch of those Motown artists all did the same song, and just whoever got more popular from it. Right. That's a big part of it as well. I think it's interesting too, because I feel like that conversation leads into, with comedy in particular, a lot of people, I mean, over the years we've heard of like stealing jokes and stealing concepts, but how I think that kind of applies to like parallel thinking. If you know that concept of where like people tell the same joke at the same time because it's a popular idea, but then you know, you can get away with that. It's the difference between stealing a joke verbatim and like parallel thinking off of someone else's thought.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Twitter, like, you know, a lot of comedians on there, people make jokes, and I do too, but it's like, it's hard, like if you're not on Twitter 24/7 and, you know, some kind of story breaks and you're trying to make like a topical joke, you know, you definitely got to search for it, like, because people, if it's something like low hanging fruit, it's definitely going to be on there. But I think, you know, but in a good way, it's made, you know, if you're writing jokes for Twitter and you don't want to do something somebody else has already done, you really have to think outside the box, not just, you know, it's just full of the same jokes a lot of the time.
Right. And I think part of the other issue is Twitter is relatively, excuse me, I'm just burping over here like a horrible host. Twitter's kind of become very toxic in a different way. I don't know. I used to be avid on Twitter as a sports fan until I realized that I was responding to guys who were trolling me about being a Bronco fan or an Arsenal fan, like getting poked by people. And they're like, yeah, but when was the last time you were relevant? And I was like, finding out I'm responding to Chiefs fans who had up until a few years ago hadn't even been to a Super Bowl since, you know, the 60s. But it was one of those things where like, I noticed I was getting angry all the time about people's responses. And it's the same with a lot of social media right now. I've noticed is like, it still seems to be very divisive. How do you kind of balance that as someone who is in sort of that social media realm, figuring out like when to say something, how to say something? How do you manage that world?
I don't know. I've thought, in all honesty, I wish I didn't have any social media. Like if I had a big enough following, I would just have my own website, I think, and which I'd love to do. If I had enough people that would, you know, check a website, but everybody just seems to be stuck on the social media apps.
Right.
So it is hard. It is, because it's like, I don't enjoy it. I don't, it would be, because I've talked to people that have like deleted everything and everybody always seems to be happier and stuff. So it is a struggle.
Yeah.
You know, being somebody that like, creates stuff, and it's so easy to get a following through social media, but then there is like just like the negativity or, you know, hot takes people have. I guess I try not to, you know, not even intentionally. I just don't really, I feel like do anything too divisive. That's why if I send a drawing to somebody political or something,
your cat want to join the show.
What's that?
Does your cat want to join the show?
Yeah, she's like, that's Pickles.
Nice. Pickles. That's it's a great name for a cat.
Yeah, she's very sweet. She just whenever I'm talking, like if I'm FaceTiming somebody or something, or doing a Zoom, whatever, she always tries to get a cameo in it.
Hey, cats are cool. I'm all about it. It's good times.
Yeah. Yeah, social media, it's just like, I'd love to be able to get rid of it, but I feel like I'd lose that audience, I guess.
I'm 100% with you on that. Like, as somebody who promotes not one, but two podcasts and a band. And then I also, I do high school play-by-play here in Colorado. So like,
oh, nice. Like, for sports?
Yeah. So actually nice. Tonight I have a girls basketball game tonight, but I do everything. Soccer, basketball, volleyball, football. I've done I do a men's baseball league here as well. I've called hockey for years.
Nice. So, yeah, I do camera operator for like high school sports games around here.
That's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that.
Yesterday I was doing it was a bowling match.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
You guys have high school bowling in Ohio?
Yeah.
Oh man. Sean, if you're watching this episode, my guitarist, my best friend, go to Ohio. My guitarist and his sister's boyfriend are like avid bowlers.
Mhm.
So it's interesting. That's cool.
Yeah,
I
I'd
didn't
love
even know
to.
that was a high school thing.
I hadn't been bowling in forever, and like after yesterday, I'm like, man, I want to get back into it because I always had fun. I haven't done it in a while, but it was always super fun doing.
Yeah, bowling's awesome. Do you play
Yeah.
any other sports growing up?
I like played baseball when I was little, and then like just like intramural basketball in school. But I was never really good enough to, I guess, be on a team.
Well, that's
I
all.
was actually really into wrestling, pro wrestling when I was younger. Even up
Okay.
until now, really, I still watch it sometimes.
Okay. Who was your go-to? Who was your baby face?
Oh,
Who was your heel?
my favorite of all time still is Bret Hart.
Oh, what a
Um,
guy. What a
yeah,
dude.
yes. I don't really know who did I hate. Probably Vince McMahon at the time. Um, yeah,
I
big Bret Hart guy.
okay, I was an Undertaker guy. So
Nice.
he was always my favorite, but like coffin matches were crazy.
Did you watch
Um
that documentary series they did on
Not
him?
yet. I've been wanting to.
Very good.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. It's interesting too. So dovetailing off of that, have you noticed that like in the last few years, probably the last decade, some of the biggest stars in television and film are either former or like recently retired wrestlers. Like if you look at The
Yeah,
Rock, John Cena, to just name a couple.
Batista.
Yeah, Batista.
He's in the Marvel movies. Yeah.
Yeah, you think about it, how much do you think the training that goes into like the improvisation and the storylines that they tell for WWE led into that, like being able to make that transition?
Yeah, I mean it's I mean wrestling is a performing art. It's I mean it has some athletic components, but really it's all just like a performance. So I think, especially when you get to a point when you're in your 40s and stuff and you don't want to be taking all those bumps and hits and everything. I think acting is like a natural progression from wrestling. And then if you got, you're a big dude and you got good looks and a name to yourself, it's kind of like I feel like from a Hollywood producer's perspective, maybe like an easy, safe bet, I guess. But then I guess you also have to have some kind of talent too. Like
Yeah,
not just any wrestler can act as well.
yeah. We don't see Booker T much in
Right.
movies.
No.
But like you look at guys like for instance, just because it's in the front of my mind because of Peacemaker, John Cena. The
Mhm.
guy does great comedy work. He's a solid, quick-witted comedian, but he's also got
Yeah.
the physical presence to be a good action star, which I
And I
think
think
is
that's what
the
I was gonna
balance.
say, I think that's what makes the best kind of wrestlers is, you can't just be a great athlete. You have to have a personality and you have to have like the whole package kind of. So like I said, I think it just if you already have all that stuff and you're looking to, get out of the ring because you just don't want to do it anymore, I think it's a good next step to, next part of your career.
I was listening to something recently, I think within the last year, which I mean technically is recently because it feels like time is a joke.
Right.
Where it was talking about the transition, like Hulk Hogan transitioning away from being it was the Andre the Giant documentary,
Mhm.
where he didn't want to be the hero anymore and wanted to give the mantle over to Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Did you watch that one?
I did. Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting to like hear how he was so willing to be like, I'm done with the spotlight. It's your time to take over and be the new face of the franchise.
Right.
I feel like that part is missed on people who are like wrestling's so dumb. Like
Right.
the storylines are compact and pushed into a narrative that is told 1 to 2 nights a week
Yeah.
for fans. It's what's the word? God, someone called it like a redneck soap opera, but it's more than that in some
I mean, the
cases.
story never ends. It just keeps going and going and going. There's
Yeah,
like,
Andy Kaufman has a
yeah,
wrestling storyline. Donald Trump has a wrestling storyline.
he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, he is. Did I see on your social media that Betty White got put through a table once? Or is that a joke?
That wasn't actually Betty White.
Okay,
That
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I didn't remember that, but
no, that was Mae Young. She was like this. She was like a. Have you heard that name?
Yeah,
Mae Young. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But if anybody doesn't know, she was like a wrestler in the 50s and stuff, like a women's wrestler in the 50s. And then in the 90s, she was like in her 70s, but she was still wrestling and she would do all this crazy stuff. And she kind of just resembled her from that.
Yeah, from that.
Betty White.
I was like, wait a minute, that's not Betty White. I had a second, I had to take a second there. I was like, oh no. That's crazy though. There was something else I was gonna lead into that. Speaking of wrestlers as well, and like I keep adding in these weird connections to things that we have talked about.
Yeah.
My current band, Gunpowder Empire, actually our first show ever, we opened for Jeff Hardy as a band, and we opened for the Rocky Mountain Wrestling Network, I think is what it's called. They had a match inside of a venue. So like they would have 2 bouts and then we would play a 30-minute set, and then they had 2 bouts and then we played another 30-minute set, and then they had their championship bout, and then Jeff Hardy came out and signed a bunch of autographs and then played a show.
Damn.
So it was crazy. Like,
did you get to meet him?
Yeah, he's really nice, dude. He was so chill. He did the Hardy Boys and like was cool with everybody. Had the crazy like fucking facial hair.
Yeah.
I loved the Hardy Boys. They were my favorite tag team growing up.
Yeah.
It was like Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys, and then Edge and Christian. Oh man, yeah. Actually, a couple of the AEW wrestlers that are in the new All Elite are from Colorado. They're from the wrestling federation that we played that show for.
Really? Wow.
Like Abaddon has been on a few. She's a female wrestler. She's from the Denver company. Like, it's really cool to like see the worlds kind of combine and show those different things. So it's always awesome. Well, Alex, thank you for coming on, man. This is the part of the show where I shill you. So right now, Alex, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Follow me on Instagram at Dumb Celeb Drawings. That's where I post, all the dumb drawings that I've sent to celebrities. I post Tex Jackson. I'm working on a comic strip. I've been working on this comic strip, which I'm gonna post shortly. I'm gonna post that on there. I've been working on some animated cartoons that I'm gonna be posting on there. And then if anybody wants to DM me, talk to me about anything, I respond to DMs on there. This has been a lot of fun. I want to go back and watch that Maggie Roswell episode. I'm really still jealous about that.
Yeah, man, she's really cool. She's awesome. Her husband is Hal Rail, who is the voice of he did some Ninja Turtle stuff. He was on Transformers for a long time, G.I. Joe. I got to talk to him as well. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Everything for Alex will be down in the description below in the YouTube video of this. It will also be on all of the audio podcasts everywhere you can find it. Shout out to Spreaker.com for making me track all my analytics. Since the show's been back, it's been doing pretty well. So I'm happy about that. Yeah. Alex, thank you again so much, man. And we will talk to you soon.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. This was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Awesome, man. Talk to you soon. Bye.
All right. Bye.
It almost feels like someone else is living my life. 'Cause it almost feels like someone else